Welcome back to Deaton Street. I'm Zach. He's Dustin. For years, Siri has been a joke of an AI assistant. But with the announcements made today at WWDC, all of that has changed. But before we get into that, please consider liking this video, subscribing, commenting. Comments help us out so much. We are pushing towards 500 subs, which is a huge milestone for us. We're hoping to get that relatively soon. Appreciate all of you who have already done so. All right, Dustin. So WWDC today, Tim Cook was on it. They're flying around. They're parachuting out of stuff and ninja.
Parkouring downstairs. That was so...
They are.
Yeah.
Our big takeaway and something that we've been looking for the past few months was the AI upgrades made to Siri. And so AI now apparently means Apple Intelligence.
It's not artificial anymore. Apple made it.
It's Apple Intelligence, man.
It's Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, that's why they haven't said AI yet. It's because they're waiting to rebrand it. So I have some rundown here, but I just wanted to quickly hear your thoughts about specifically the upgrades to Siri. Like, are you as jazzed as I am right now?
I'm pretty excited about it. This is going off of, I had it playing in my headphone while I was at work today, so I didn't get to really watch it. But from what I gathered, a lot of really cool features. I'm actually surprised that Apple has integrated this AI stuff as quick as they did, because normally it would be in the next couple of years whenever they would release something after everybody else has done their thing. So congrats, Apple, for getting, on the same page with everybody. But yeah, no, it's a ton of new features that just look really cool, really useful, and could be great for the ecosystem.
So let's talk about some of those new features real quick. And I don't have a comprehensive list here. I have some of the things that I jotted down that got me the most excited. I mean, the first thing is understanding personal context, right? So this is kind of the AI feature that the Rabbit R1, I don't know if anyone remembers that device. That was the big promise of the R1 earlier this year, is that it's going to be able to contextualize what you ask it. So if you ask it to cancel my meeting for later today, it's going to be able to contextualize which meeting you're talking about. It'll be able to do things for you, draft an email, send that out to the appropriate people, that type of deal. The Rabbit R1 failed miserably at this, so much so that I think CoffeeZilla is going after them. And if CoffeeZilla is going after you, you're in a bad place as a tech company.
Yeah.
But Apple is saying that now that they're going to be able to do this, which makes a lot more sense when you think about the Apple ecosystem. The ability to understand that personal context and then go into the Apple apps for you. One of the moments that made me way too excited just kind of shows one side of how far behind Apple is sometimes, but how Apple fans such as myself will get excited about anything. Is just when the type to Siri asked to set an alarm for 7 a.m. the next day, and it just did it. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
That would just be so nice.
One thing you had mentioned too, like the fact that it was able to integrate with the Apple apps. Right as they were saying that, I was thinking in my head, are they going to integrate with other apps?
And they said, yeah.
And then like immediately after I had that thought, she was like, and it'll be, it'll be cross app integration and everything. And then like, it'll be open to any of like developers of other apps to integrate with that, which I thought was super cool, because usually it is, you got to use Apple Mail, you got to use, all of the Apple apps in order to do what you want to do. If I'm able to use any of my other stuff and still have all that capability, I'm sold.
Yeah, I really like Apple's approach here. It seems like they are not closing everyone else out. Is that because of the lawsuit that they're currently fighting against the DOJ? Is that because they're a little behind on AI personally? Their company is a little behind, so they have to kind of bring in other people. I don't know, but I think the consumer wins. I think that's super cool. It's probably going to be up to the developers of those applications So it's going to be up to the Googles and the Firefoxes and everything to play nice to kind of integrate that stuff. But we'll see. Just allowing that to kind of be on the table is a good first start. Beyond Siri, they announced essentially a Grammarly replacement right inside, I think, all of the iOSs. So iOS, macOS, which I thought was it's huge because I have a Grammarly subscription, but I just feel bad for the folks at Grammarly. Grammarly.
That's a tough one. That's a tough word to say.
It is, yeah.
I've never used Grammarly, but I know what it is, and I know like its functionality and stuff. I just don't have a use for it myself. But I probably will utilize that feature with the new iOS stuff.
Yeah,
it seems pretty cool.
I think that's the reason folks argue for having iPhones. It's bringing those type of subscription services that you would have to pay outside, bringing them inside the ecosystem, and then not having to pay extra for them.
Yeah.
And they also announced organizing email. I don't know how I was impressed with that. Gmail's been doing something like that for a long time. And then Safari article summaries. So if you use Safari, which I don't know a lot of people that do.
They're the crickets. They're the crickets of people who use Safari. Nobody uses it.
If you do use it, you can get article summaries now, which I think you can also get on Google. So in general, I think the kind of overall vibe and the reason I'm so jazzed about this is Siri is finally going to be useful, supposedly, if everything works the way it is. I think this will be a leap forward. I think if Apple redirects their attention to Siri, which they've kind of been lacking that attention the past 4, 5, 6 years, there's some really cool things that can happen within the ecosystem. Can move over to the watch, I really think that we could not have to be looking at our phones all the time and kind of just talk to our phones from afar to have things kind of happen in the background for us. That's my dream.
That would be a game changer for sure. Because there are several times where I'll be running wire, at my job or whatever. I'm installing something, and I need to check on something. I'll get like a notification in my AirPod, such and such, whatever, a text or something. Like if I could just say, hey, send a text back or send an email or go check this and like use that full functionality of the new stuff, the Apple Intelligence, because it's a little clunky now. Like you can do it now, but it's not the greatest thing in the world.
Right. For instance, like I invite you to concerts every 2 or 3 months. We hardly ever go, but I'm constantly inviting you, right?
Yeah.
So it would be really nice for Siri to have that that context of being able to say like, hey, check and see when that concert that Zach invited me was. See if I'm available that day. And can you go online and tell me what the concert tickets, like what the prices are right now? Just a general price. And then having all that information back, you find out it's a $200 concert for a band that I like that you don't like. Text Zach and let them know we're not going to make the concert, So it's that type of context that I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to be able to say that and then not have Siri pull up, here's what I found on the web, and then basically just do your research for yourself.
Here's the definition of concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So wrapping everything up, I just want to address something really quickly that I nerded out about at the end that made me really excited. As folks on this channel may know, I work in privacy. Dustin works in IT. He does some cybersecurity stuff. We care about that type of stuff. The on-device computing for AI is huge. It's not only huge for privacy, it also could speed things up if the chips are fast enough. One of the issues with the Rabbit R1 and the Humane chips Humane pins, were that it had to send it back and forth. So that could be huge. The other part is this idea of like a private cloud compute where Apple is going to allow compute to happen within the cloud, but Apple won't have access to that data. That's huge.
Yeah. I love the fact that they kind of indirectly called out Copilot on that stuff. Because Copilot is the one that will take snapshots of your computer as you're working, as pixels change, in order to recall that information. They're using the recall stuff. Apple says, yeah, we could do that, and we're not going to keep your information in a cloud service or whatever, and we're still going to be able to accomplish what you want to happen, which is impressive, and it's also a slap to the face to the opponent.
There was another slap to the face for everyone that apparently that uses AI, and it was AI for the rest of us.
Oh.
What?
That's so pretentious, Apple. AI for the rest.
It's kind of funny because I feel like it's trying to call out coders, but Apple is just a big building of marketing, a marketing team and a bunch of coders. The other thing too is like they're trying to be more relatable in that, like it's AI for the rest of us. You're not super tech savvy, but the whole intro was them jumping out of a plane into their super building. And all of it shot on iPhone, which I don't know. It's just funny on one hand where they're like, we're like you. And on the other hand, they're,
What is that meme? It's like, what is it? Jennifer Lawrence. That's always like, I'm just a normal girl. Like they did like an SNL skit about it.
Yeah.
But she's like a Hollywood star, that's the vibe that Apple's giving off with all this. You talk about the skydiving thing. I remember texting you.
Yeah.
About the transition from Apple, the iPad OS to the Mac OS.
Parkour.
The parkour down the stairs, like, and now onto the Mac OS. Surprise, we don't have extra people for me to transition to. I got to get down there as fast as possible. Yeah. And this is the Mac OS. What was that?
They tried to lighten the mood a little bit. They tried to have some jokes. Yeah. I thought that a lot of the jokes were a little cringe, but what are you gonna do?
It was like they had a table, a conference of like a lot of really old people, and they're like, "What are the kids like nowadays? Extreme sports."
Yeah. Parkour
down the stairs.
Apple's never first, but they're usually best. So that was the best parkour I've ever seen, even though it came out in 2010.
Oh god.
So just to wrap this up, I am overjoyed, excited. The timeline on this stuff is late this year into next year. I would expect just next year. It's going to be a 2025 thing for these all of this to roll out properly. You texted me something when I was super excited, super jazzed. You pumped the brakes a little bit. So I'm going to let you have the last word to do just a little bit of brake pumping for me and everyone else that's a little bit too excited.
I just need Siri to work. That's it. We've had Siri in the past whenever they announced it and it came out and it was this great thing and it just did not execute in what they wanted it to. It's kind of like the new Google search features and the updates and stuff like that. It's kind of clunky. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It's okay, but it's kind of not what they're promising there. That's all that needs to happen. We need to see it in action, not just pictures. I just need it to work. That's it. And then I'll be happy.
Yeah. So they're promising everything. We just got to actually see the promises come to fruition.
Exactly.
So,
which they should.
Hopefully.
You never know.
It's Apple.
It's Apple.
Yeah. When has Apple ever missed on a product? Vision. So thank you so much for watching. Let us know what your thoughts are. Are we being a little bit too excited about this? Are you excited about Siri? Do you think that they're going to actually deliver on their promises? Let us know in the comments below. Appreciate watching, and sorry that I have a huge pimple. I'm in my 30s. It happens.
See ya.
Bye.